In 1904, Russia and Japan went to war over Korea and Manchuria. Russia looked at a map and felt confident. Russia was enormous. Japan was considerably less enormous. Therefore, according to the advanced military science of looking at maps, Russia would obviously win. Japan disagreed. The Japanese Navy launched a surprise attack on the Russian fleet at Port Arthur. Russia's Pacific Fleet was soon trapped, so Russia decided to send reinforcements from the Baltic Sea. There was one minor geographical problem. The Baltic Sea was not in the Pacific. The Russian fleet would have to sail 18,000 miles around the world, reach East Asia, defeat Japan, and save the empire. Admiral Zinovy Russiaspensky was placed in command. His mission was simple: sail halfway around the planet, keep dozens of coal-powered warships functioning, avoid diplomatic incidents, and arrive ready to fight one of the best-trained navies in the world. The fleet failed at the third task almost immediately. Russian officers had been warned about possible Japanese torpedo boat attacks. So when the fleet encountered British fishing boats near Dogger Bank, the Russians reached the obvious conclusion. Japan had secretly transported torpedo boats to the North Sea and disguised them as fishermen. The Russian fleet opened fire. The fishermen tried to explain that they were fishing. This was difficult because they were being shelled. In the confusion, Russian ships also fired toward one another. This was impressive. Russia had entered a war against Japan, attacked Britain, and shot it itself, all in the same evening. 2 British fishermen were killed, and Britain began preparing its navy. Russia had almost started a second war before properly reaching the first one. The Russian government apologized and paid compensation. The fleet continued its journey, having successfully located every navy except the Japanese one. Then came the coal problem. The ships needed enormous amounts of it. Coal was stored in corridors, cabins, and practically every space not already occupied by a worried Russian sailor. Coal dust covered everything. The engines constantly required repairs. The crews suffered through tropical heat inside ships designed for the Baltic. The fleet slowly sailed around Africa like a heavily armed industrial accident. Meanwhile, Japan captured Port Arthur. The place the Russian fleet had been sent to rescue no longer needed rescuing, mostly because it was no longer Russian. Turning home might have been sensible, but the fleet had already traveled thousands of miles, attacked British fishermen, nearly caused another war, and filled every available room with coal. Returning would have created an awkward meeting with the Tsar. So they continued toward Vladivostok. Russia even sent additional ships to help. These were older and slower vessels that Rossistevsky had not particularly wanted. The fleet was already exhausted and slow. Russia's solution was to make it larger, older, and slower. By May 1905, the Russians finally approached the Tsushima Strait. They had been traveling for more than 7 months. Their ships were worn out. Their crews were exhausted. Their morale had been abandoned somewhere near Madagascar. Waiting for them was Admiral Togo Heihachiro. His ships were maintained. His sailors were rested. His gunners were trained. The Japanese also possessed another important advantage. They knew where Japan was. On 27 May, the Japanese discovered the Russian fleet. Togo raised a signal telling his sailors that the fate of the empire depended on the coming battle. The Russians could have raised a different signal. We have made several mistakes. The Japanese fleet was faster and fired more accurately. Togo crossed in front of the Russian line, allowing his ships to concentrate their guns on the leading Russian vessels. The Russians responded with smoke, confusion, and rapidly disappearing battleships. Rozhdestensky's flagship was battered and set on fire. The admiral was wounded. When night arrived, Japanese torpedo boats attacked the survivors. By the following morning, there was not much left to attack. Some Russian ships attempted to escape. Some were captured. Others surrendered. 21 Russian vessels were sunk, and 7 were captured. Thousands of Russian sailors were killed, and thousands more became prisoners. Japan lost 3 torpedo boats.
The Russian fleet had spent more than 7 months finding Japan. Japan required approximately 2 days to remove it. The defeat forced Russia into peace negotiations. Japan became a major military power. Russia received a revolution, international humiliation, and several important lessons about geography. The Baltic Fleet had left Europe expecting to save the Russian Empire. Instead, it attacked fishermen, fired on itself, sailed around Africa, arrived after Port Arthur had fallen, and was destroyed almost immediately. It had not merely lost when it found Japan. It had started losing long before it got there.